Brandon, I'm sorry, Aaron Whitlow.
He wants to be me. I knew it. I am Brandon Spivey, and welcome to the Markout Movie Podcast. Marvel is dead. Bring on Halloween ends.
Marvel is dead. We didn't even discuss that. The ending. So last week was the finality of our Marvel viewing experience until I guess Wakanda Forever when we do that. It was a long run, man. How you feel about it being over? You
I'm
excited?
so happy. I'm so happy it's over. You can't remove the
Man,
smile, man. You can't remove it. But I know you're going to try to.
I know a movie that tried to remove it, or remove my smile, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, before we get to that, we're gonna always, as we do each week, if you're just tuning in or listening for the first time each week, Brandon and I have a little segment, short segment called "What We Watch," where we discuss the films or shows, that we've watched this week. Um, oh, Brandon has watched some stuff. I didn't realize I was on your profile. Let me
See?
go out of that.
He's like Michael Myers. He's obsessed. Well, actually, I wouldn't be Michael. He's Lori. He's Lori.
or is yeah, Lori's the one that's obsessed. All right, but I will discuss what I'm watching. So right now, currently, I'm watching Midnight Club. I've not finished it yet. I'm still watching it, and I'm still watching Chucky season 2. Once again, I've not finished them. I'm just still watching those. But what I have completed is the Netflix uh, short run series, The Watcher, about a family that moves into the suburbs and they get letters from an anonymous person saying they're watching the house and they're watching them and that they're going to, the house wants blood. And it's based off a true story, true situation. Bilford says, "Thanks for saving me money for not seeing Halloween Ends." Um, you can also watch it on Peacock if you want to watch it cheaper. Feel free. Uh, but yeah, I watched The Watcher. For me personally, I know a lot of people. It's like number one on Netflix right now. It didn't really resonate for me. I thought it did at first, but I think that it didn't really have a great conclusion. Much like
Is
many things I've seen this week.
that
And
a show or is
so
that a movie?
it's a show.
Okay.
But it has Naomi Watts in it. Is like the
Mm.
mother. So
I've heard of it,
it's
but I
done by
don't
the
know if
same person. It's done by Ryan Murphy, who did American Horror Story and uh, Dahmer. So yeah, you have some of the same actors in it in some places. But yeah, that's all I can say. But I gave it 3 on Letterbox.
Mm.
Um, I also watched Deadstream, which is a Shutter film about a guy who live streams his his spending the night at a haunted house to get views, and if he leaves, he loses sponsorship. It's very funny. It's more like a modern day Evil Dead for me. I thought it was really funny. I really enjoyed it and I had fun with it. I gave it 3 as well, but I gave it a heart because I actually liked it. Uh, it got a little dumb towards parts of it, but I still enjoyed the dumbness of it. And then uh, did I mention Mr. Harrigan's phone last week?
I don't think you
I
mentioned
think
it,
I did.
but you did mention it to me.
Yeah, it's
I don't
terrible. It's a half a star.
have.
It's
Man.
Stephen King. Stephen King, he has fallen short in his life.
He's not
Like
making the
he has,
movies, man.
but it's his stuff, man. Like the story alone, I guess it could have been a cool concept, but Stephen King, all he has is cool concept. I'm not
What?
advocating for drug use. I'm not advocating for drug use, but it seems like most of his stuff was better when he was on cocaine. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm gonna say about that.
See what
Do what you
Halloween
want with
Ends
it,
has done
Stephen.
to you? It's made
Yeah.
you dislike everything.
Well, And that leads me to the next thing I watched, which I really give 5 stars. And I loved it. And Brandon told me about it a while ago when he seen it. Vengeance by B.J. Novak.
Yes.
Absolutely loved the movie. I thought it was excellent. I think it should be up for awards. I think it should be up for original story, perhaps. Um, uh,
Yeah.
it's really great, man. I really loved
Yeah.
it. If you want to watch something, if y'all want to watch something on Peacock that's actually really good, Vengeance is it. It's absolutely great. I loved it. It
It's
has
one of the best
comedic
films of the year.
comedy in it. What'd you say?
I said it's one of the best films of the year.
That's
It
what
is.
I watched, Brandon. What about yourself?
I
Go
mean,
ahead,
I
finish,
watched.
and then you can get into what you watched.
I watched a bunch of old stuff, but I'm just really going to talk about Terrifier 2. That's all I'm really going to discuss here. I'm not a fan of the original movie. I think there's no story to it. It's just Art the Clown. You know, he's fascinating. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it just for the experience of what he does to that poor girl. But this one, it's overly long, and it does take forever in some scenes to get to its point. But once it really gets to the heart of the story, oh my God, the gore, man. The gore. I'm not a big gore person, but it is flooded with gore. It may be the goriest movie I've ever seen. It's not scary at all, in my opinion, but it's disgusting. The story itself was interesting. I won't spoil anything. Won't go into it. It's just you're seeing Art the Clown kill all these people, and you're just it's hard to believe this actually made it to theaters. Like it shouldn't be rated R. I don't think. I think it should be NC-17. Just the amount of gore and the creative kills. Chris Jericho makes a cameo. I will say that. So that may get you to watch it here, but it's not until like the post-credit scene. But it gives hope for he'll be in Terrifier 3. The ending though was I didn't understand the ending. The post-credit scene, what was actually happening. I was like, I can't go in details about it, but I didn't understand how that was possible. But it was fun. I had fun with it, and I watched it right after Halloween ends. so
if that tells you anything,
yeah.
So let's go. We can go ahead and get into our discussion of. I will eventually watch Terrifier 2. I mean, the first one, I agree with you. I didn't really like, but I thought that Art the Clown was compelling, and he's terrifying. He's literally terrifying.
He's more compelling than the sequel.
Yeah, and I like him as a character. It's just so. I don't know, man. I guess Hollywood has made me a little bit more, when it comes to like gore, because like movies like that and Hatchet, they're the most goriest. Well, Terrifier, the first one, is literally the most goriest film I've ever seen. Oh my goodness! Like the whole cutting the lady. Oh my goodness!
It's triple that.
This. Oh wow! It's wow. But yeah, I will watch it. But before we get, but we gotta discuss Halloween Ends. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine. This is on IMDb. Comes to a spine-chilling climax in the final installment of this trilogy. Directed by David Gordon Green and based on characters written and created by John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, Annie Medichak, I don't know how to say her name, is Allison, James Drew Courtney as the Shape, Michael Myers, Rowan Campbell as Corey.
The real star.
The real star. Will Patton is Frank, and then a bunch of other people that is of no consequence. Brandon, give me thy
it's
numbers.
going to be a pleasure. It's going to be a pleasure. All right, it has got a 5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's got a 57% on Fandango, 58% like it on Google. It's got a whopping 40% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 57% audience score. It is certified rotten.
Brandon loves that. So Brandon, for those that don't know, Brandon's a diehard Friday the 13th fan. Like
I am.
diehard. And there's always been it's always been a silent beef between Halloween fans and Friday the 13th fans because both of our killers are silent, both wear a mask, both seem pretty indestructible, super strong. Both stalk their victims. I would say Jason has the more creative kills than Michael until these later installments. But I don't know. I gotta say, on those two, I hate Friday the 13th has probably by far the better films. Uh, Unfortunately for me, 'cause I love Halloween. But Friday the 13th by far has the better films. Even the one that has the fake Jason was actually I liked still. I know people don't like that one, but I liked it. Um,
I would probably agree, since we went back and watched all the Halloween films, that it does have the better films. But I don't think either franchise has great films, except for the first Halloween. You know, that's
yeah.
and Halloween 2018. I think those are the two only great films. But
So,
Friday the 13th doesn't
H2O, I
really
thought
have
that was
any.
pretty great.
What's that?
I said H2O, I thought was pretty great. I consider that a great one.
I think it's entertaining, but I wouldn't. It's probably the
But
third best one.
but as we discussed when we was doing the actual review for that one, they borrowed heavily off of Scream. So I
Yeah,
think the series or franchise that has across the board great movies is Scream. In my
yeah.
opinion, I think every single Scream film, even the third one, is the weakest one, but it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? All of them are pretty good. That's in my opinion. I think the third is the weakest of the Scream franchise, but I think all of them are good, like viewable and watchable and rewatchable. So I
But
can't
okay,
say the same for Halloween.
so here we go. Halloween ends though. I mean, I know you were hyped for
Yeah,
this because
I was.
you loved Halloween 2018. You really enjoyed Halloween Kills, so you were really hyped. Me, loved Halloween 2018. Didn't like Halloween Kills, the theatrical cut. I do like the extended cut though. I
Let's
think it's
talk
much
about that
better.
real quick. Let's talk
Okay.
about that. So so I did watch the extended cut with you, and I agree with you. Comparing the two films, the extended cut of Halloween Kills is a much better film.
Yeah, it just
Like I think that the one thing that I would cut out of it is Sheriff Brackett saying, you know, everybody's entitled to one good scare. That's just for fan service, but it's just unnecessary for Michael. Like, and him to
yeah,
say it, it's just so dumb. Um,
I
it,
agree.
but I will say that Halloween Kills, the extended cut, did set up more stuff. I feel like it set up more stuff for Halloween. What should have been Halloween Ends, like as far
Yeah,
as like it set up, like it talked about Dr. Mathis, and that's the same doctor that is killed in Halloween Ends. It set up Willie the Kid. You hear his name uh, about his radio station, so it kind of sets him up as well. But my issue is that Halloween Kills, the extended cut, I really didn't have an issue other than the Evil Dies Tonight stuff. I always thought that was dumb.
I thought they toned
But
it
I thought,
down. You're watching it. I thought it didn't seem like it was all over the place, or maybe that
hmm,
was just my experience watching it on opening night. Because it felt like, oh my god, they talked about Evil Dies Tonight all the time. It felt like, but maybe it wasn't that way. But I just felt they toned it down in the extended cut. You know, I even like Tommy
I,
Gold a lot better in the extended cut than I did in the theatrical. But it did set up a lot. And the way this thing ends, you expect Laurie's going to hunt him down. And that's not the way they go at all.
So we're gonna talk about it because in Halloween Kills, it sets up the extended cut. It still ends with Judy Greer, Karen getting slaughtered by Michael. I love how Judy Greer, the actress name is Judy, and she was killed in the same room that Judy Myers was killed in. So I like that connection as well. But yeah, Karen is murdered by Michael, and then it ends with a shot of Laurie walking out the hospital with the knife in the hand, ready, like I'm coming for you, Mike, because she calls and hears Michael breathing on her phone, and so she's like, Michael, I'm coming for you, and then I'm like, I'm ready, and like it should have led into an epic showdown, but I feel like they had to cut around. I feel like the idea that they wanted to go with, they couldn't go with in Halloween Ends, and so they introduced this Corey character. So this movie starts with Corey Cunningham, a kid we never seen in any of the other films, babysitting a young man and babysitting a child, a young boy, and this is a year later from the Halloween 2018 night, and the murders and the kills and all that stuff. So, and the paranoia of Michael is still out there, and the little boy plays it's gonna go into spoilers. The little boy plays a prank on Corey. First of all, little boy plays a prank on Corey, and locks him in the closet, and Corey's kicking the door, trying to get in. The parents is coming home. It's very much like Scream, in my opinion. That's what it kind of reminded me of. And then he kicks the door, hits the little boy in the face. He falls over the balcony, the railing, in these big spiral stairs. He falls to his death, and they show it. And the boy dies. And then, like, they screaming at him, and then the music hits. What did you think about that opening, cold open?
I actually really liked the opening. I thought it was suspenseful, especially when he gets locked in the door. You know, was it a bathroom or was it just like a closet?
It's like I thought it was more like an attic, almost like a thing. It felt like it was a closet. It's a big closet, rich people closet.
Honestly, I thought it was the best scene in the whole movie. But I thought it really was suspenseful. I really liked the tone it was setting, and I was on board with this Corey character. And when all that happened, I was like, man, I felt so bad for him, And we know what's gonna come from it. But that scene, I thought it set up a lot. I thought it set the tone perfectly. I thought it was going to be a great movie. I thought that the setup was great. I really thought it was going to be great. So I was on board with Corey at first. I really was.
Yeah, I think, and then we pick up. Remind me if I'm wrong. Do we pick up with Corey again, or do we? Because if we go to Corey immediately,
Jamie.
The Jamie.
She's right.
Lori.
She says it's been 4 years since that Halloween night. So So it picks up with her.
Yeah.
She's different, to say the least. She
is loving Granny.
Yeah.
She is. Listen, she's Laurie Strode original. If Laurie Strode from the original never encountered Michael Myers, that's who she is. I felt so like I agree. So Brandon, somebody said it, like my buddy Joey Smith, Randall Shane, aka the Southern Kentucky Superstar, from UPW, said this when he told me, when he watched it, he asked me, he talked to me. He said he felt like he felt like jarring that Laurie isn't still, because she was crazy over what Michael did to her like 40 years ago, but she's not crazy over him literally killing her daughter. Like that, she been holding on to what he did to her 40 years, but you after 4 years, you're gonna let go of him killing your daughter,
Yeah.
Brandon.
The only thing I could say, they were retconning Halloween Kills. You know, they just changed her character completely. She found peace. But it
Ain't
don't.
no way, Brandon.
It doesn't add up. I mean, it just doesn't add up. There's no way you can make it make sense. Um, and I'm a guy that watched this with an open mind. I wanted to really like it. And I knew some stuff that I knew that Michael wasn't going to be in it as much. I had already heard that. So I really went in with an open mind, but I just didn't like how they portrayed Laurie Strode in this movie. I really didn't.
We pick up from there. Allison is now working. She's an RN at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, and we pick up on with we pick up on uh, Corey going to work at the junkyard or garage or something.
Yeah, he's
And
late. Yeah, he's.
uh, now I got as soon as he pulled out the bike for him. Honestly, immediately I went to Christine. I immediately thought Christine. I was like, oh, it kind of gives me Christine vibes, even though it's not a haunted bike or
Yeah.
motorcycle or whatever. But I kind of had Christine vibes because him being at a junkyard, a garage or whatever. I just kind of got that vibe. It, this is pretty much a remake of Christine. Uh, it's well, also the opening. What do you think about the opening title sequence with the pumpkins
I thought
exploding
that was
through one
pretty cool.
another,
Yeah, I thought that was
and
pretty
then the
cool.
font, the blue season of the witch font?
Yeah. That probably could have gave us some things away that this wasn't going to be your traditional Halloween sequel. It does. Looking back on it, it does feel more like it's connected to Season of the Witch than it is this current series they're doing. It feels out of place. If it just, even though Michael appears, it just doesn't feel like a traditional Halloween movie. You know.
You know what I just dawned on me. David
Mhm.
Gordon Green essentially remade the first three Halloween films again. Well, Halloween 2018 is different, so it's a continuation of the first movie. The second one is pretty much the second movie because Laurie is in the hospital through all of Halloween 2, essentially.
Yeah.
And in Halloween Kills, she's pretty much stuck in the hospital. The whole, and that's people's complaint of the original Halloween. But it also had more gore, as Halloween Kills also had more gore. And then Halloween 3 was, wasn't about Michael Myers. It's the season of the witch.
Yeah.
Halloween Ends isn't about Michael Myers. It's about Corey Cunningham. So
Mm-hmm.
he pretty much remade. He's like trolling the fans. He remade all three films. He I guess he has a project he wants to work on, and so he's like, "I'll do your project if you let me
I
do my
think
project."
I think that's The Exorcist. He's doing the same thing with The Exorcist as he's doing with Halloween. He's doing a direct sequel to the original. It's supposed to be another trilogy. I don't think people are going to show up though. I
Is
really
Linda
don't.
Blair going to be in it?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, that'd be interesting. No, I've lost. I don't know. David Gordon Green is a director, but I've lost all confidence in him. Seriously, honestly, like it's like if you can't tell by our review, I hated the movie. It's not that I hated it. All right, so Corey, I love Corey as a character. I love. I didn't like the love thing between him and Allison. I thought that it was rushed and forced. Um, but I did like him. I love him getting bullied.
Yeah.
And then we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Uh, that's why. First of all, who gets bullied by band kids? Who gets bullied by band kids? The band, not football players. Band kids. If you don't take y'all little butt on somewhere, y'all are in band. There is nothing gangster about band kids. No, I refuse to get bullied by a band kid. And one had a mullet. Come on, get out. That's how I feel. Just get out. Just get out.
I,
I
I think what
refuse.
he, well, I think what he was going through for with those kids and that car was to pay homage to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, because it's the same kind of car, and
I didn't pick up on that.
yeah, it's in some way he's throwing. It feels like he's throwing a little bit of every sequel into his films, which I don't think is a smart move. But my problem with this movie, my biggest problem with it, with the Corey story arc, this should have been a standalone. If you want to do this, make it a spin-off movie about Haddonfield and this character Corey. This shouldn't have been your final film in the legacy of Laurie and Michael. It should not have been the final film. Shouldn't have been a final story. I have no problem with the story he was telling, but it didn't fit with what he's been telling. It just felt so random. So that's my biggest problem with the story, is it just didn't fit with Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills. And also this felt like more of a middle movie than the final movie. It didn't feel like it was an ending.
Yeah. It felt like to me. It felt like they took two or three different movies, and smushed them into one movie.
Yeah.
And like I seen Jeremy John said, which was pretty funny. He said, "Hey, I got a movie about a kid that is pretty much have serial killer tendencies, and he's fall for the girl, and he's trying to learn how to kill and things like that." Oh, you still got Halloween? You still got the ending? Oh, well, I got you an ending. So you got me an ending. I got you a movie. So let's just do that and that's what he said. He said, "I believe that's how the conversation went," and I don't doubt that. But yeah, man, I think that. All right, so partway through the movie, like 40 minutes or so, it felt like. This is going to get into spoilers. We found like Corey is bullied again by the kids. He goes to a club, goes to a bar. Lindsay Wallace, they wasted Lindsay Wallace. So this is my issue, because Halloween Kills set up great characters that you wanted them to get their like what's the term whenever they get closure?
I can't think of it.
A character, you know what I'm talking about, like the art, sorry, the character art.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought they saved her from dying in Kills, that she would have a bigger role in Ends, and she didn't. So I agree with you.
That's what Brandon just said too. Brandon just said that pretty much.
Yeah. It just, she was wasted. She did nothing. She added nothing to the story. Michael had no interaction with her.
She should have just died pretty much in Halloween Kills. Not saying that, like, I like Lindsay and I wanted her to survive, but I thought she was gonna have a more major role in this movie, and she didn't. And also, Frank, I love Frank. The character of Frank, and Frank I think that he said Michael has to die, and I had to be the one to kill him. And I like that idea because he let him live in 78. So I thought that it'd be perfect if he's the one that kills him, if he's the one that ends it for some reason. I thought that would be great. I have no investment in Laurie Strode at all, especially in this movie. I'm totally over Laurie Strode. I'd rather her die, honestly, because I'm not invested in her as a final girl. I think that especially the version that we get of her is garbage.
I understand. And I felt they wasted Will Patton as Frank in this movie. His only scenes, it seems like he's just showing he's interested in Laurie. That's it. I was thinking while watching, is he even a cop anymore? Because
I don't think he is. Like, it don't seem like he is. But then he called and said, "Hey, there's a suicide thing at Lori's,
Yeah.
a call or something like that. So he,
He
maybe
just
he
didn't.
is. I don't know.
When he was with Lori, though, he didn't come off as like he was still part of the sheriff's department. But he is in scenes
Yeah,
with the sheriff early on when there's killings happening. They're wondering if it's Michael coming back. And then, of course, the ending, he's there at the house. But I do not recall him being in uniform. But I wasn't really paying attention to. I thought he was going to be all over the movie, and he really wasn't. So I really wasn't paying attention to those scenes as much as I should have. But I thought he was wasted in this movie, and I don't know how
yeah,
you waste
I agree.
talent like Will Patton. I really don't know how you waste it. But
I,
they
I,
did.
I also, I was gonna say, also, I feel like I gotta say this. I think the sewers belong to Pennywise, not Michael. Uh, so Michael's been hiding out for 4 years in the sewers,
I
uh,
think
and
it's another
he's
callback to Halloween. Was it
five.
5? Yeah,
Yeah, but he's in the sewers. He's kind of broken down. He's elderly. He's
yeah.
geriatric. He's frail. He's like, oh, I'm hurt. I'm gonna hurt Michael Myers. Uh,
Not just
and
that, he
but
has
he
a heart.
grabs.
He's got compassion for
He
Corey.
does. He does.
That
Like,
shocks me. I was
literally,
like,
he sees Corey's life and story, and he's like, and that's so weird. Why? Like, if that's what they're gonna do, and he transfers evil into Corey, then I was on board because when Corey comes back and lures, and he says, "Show me," and then he starts showing up. So Corey lured. So there's another. So you remember Halloween Kills, that family called the Mulaney's. You know the
yeah,
payoff for that. This dumb
yeah,
sheriff, the deputy. That's the only payoff that he is a Mulaney. No payoff.
yeah. And he was dating Allison. Yeah.
And didn't he look too old to be dating Allison?
Yeah, she's like 20, 21 at this point in time. And he looks like he's in his 40s at least. But some girls like older men. So
Allison has daddy issues, is what you're saying.
she's got a lot of issues, man.
Also, the Mulaney guy, he kind of looked like if there's a remake Halloween '78, and they want to create cast a Sheriff Brackett, he will make a really good Sheriff Brackett. He looks just like the guy. That's why I was kind of jarring when I saw him. I was like, kind of looks like Sheriff Brackett, but
Yeah.
kind of had his hair parted the same way. But uh, man, also we got to mention that Corey he's not in jail. He's a uh, pariah, whatever that word is. He's pretty much hated because he killed this kid accidentally, but
And I think it's
they think
a
he's
cop out, because
huh.
I feel like that was a cop out for the town.
Amen.
Dilfer says you'll float. We all float. But I really did. I feel it was a
Except for
cop
this
out for the
movie.
town that they couldn't find Michael. They just know he's vanished. So this Corey situation happens, and they try to make him the new boogeyman. The new monster. And that's where I really had sympathy for Corey, and that's when I was really behind his character. But when he gets thrown off that bridge and Michael takes him into the sewers
Yeah.
and he sees everything that would happen to him and he shows compassion, but somehow that's supposed to make Corey become a psycho, I just didn't buy into it. Just because he looked
Yeah.
in his
So
eyes, that reminded me more of My Bloody Valentine remake when Jensen looked into that guy's eyes and he became the psycho. It just looking in someone's eyes. I know
yeah.
Michael's supposed to have the darkest eyes, the most evil eyes there ever was, but I just don't feel that's going to make you become him in a
No.
sense.
If you want somebody to transfer into somebody's body and do killing, just look at Jason, the one where they ate his heart. Just look at that.
We don't need a body hopping Michael.
But no, that's pretty much what we got. But no, like I'm not gonna Rowan, I forget the kid's name, Rowan Campbell, who played Corey Cunningham. he did a great job. I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally my favorite character in this movie, and I was on board with him, like wanting to maybe become the next Shape and be mentored by Michael. Almost, I was kind of like, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm digging it.
Yeah, I was if that's the direction they were going in, it seemed like that was the direction they were going in, the ending should have never happened. That ending should have never happened. And but I was digging it, but it just felt weird when him and Michael are tag teaming. You know, it's just seeing Michael with
so,
someone
do you
else.
feel? Do you feel that Michael? So you think that Michael just pretty much just followed Corey to the house where the doctor
Yeah.
was and was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna just kill these people." But like so? Also, this is a plot hole too. I believe Allison told Corey this doctor is sleeping with this girl, and I
Yeah.
got passed over
Yeah, I was
for the
thinking,
promotion.
how would he know this? I mean, I know he knew
Yeah,
the
because
doctor was mean to her, but he didn't know anything about the other girl. You know, and that's not a reason to kill somebody. I understand why he went and killed the DJ. I understand why he killed I especially understand the band kids. They had it coming. But
uh, uh,
the doctor
I
and
want
the nurse, that didn't make sense. You know.
also in Halloween Kills the death. Actually, I thought about this too. In Halloween Kills the deaths that happen in it, you actually felt sympathy for every victim, uh, and that was impressive. I noticed that watching the extended cut, like the elderly couple, even though we find out the old lady didn't die, she was in all three films. She was the person showing them where the grave was
Mm-hmm.
um, in the cemetery in the first one. She was the one that was stabbed in the face, throat with the fluorescent bulb.
Yeah.
And then in this one, her and her sister is like mean mugging Lori, saying, "You did this to her. You the reason why you provoked that man, and should have left him alone." It really,
It's,
but they don't really have the facts. It's more that he would never. Michael would have never been on Lori's compound if the doctor hadn't brought him over there.
yeah.
Those are the facts.
Yeah.
Lori had nothing
Yeah.
to do with it.
Yeah. Lori would like to believe she was responsible, and she was believing that until Frank told her that's not the case. But yeah, it had nothing to do with her, you know, and so that wasn't a good scene for those ladies to be saying that because it wasn't factual. So it really wasn't a good scene.
It just makes her. It makes that lady that with the throat seem weak. Honestly, um, like I'm surprised she survived. Let's just throw that out there.
She shouldn't
She
have.
survived. She should have survived. Like literally, I thought she died. Like people have Michael killed people uh in simpler ways than that, and they
Yeah.
died. You know.
If you're gonna let
But
survive, let Tommy survive.
yeah,
But
this is how.
watching the extended cut, I didn't realize he broke the bat when he hit Tommy with the bat.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. And then like he stabs him. So
Yeah.
yeah, the extended cut was so much better. It's a better film. But yeah, so Corey starts like, and I like the of a scarecrow mask for him, and I
Mhm.
thought that this would be his look. So instead
Yeah.
of the Michael jumpsuit, like he would start killing in this like scarecrow mask, and I'm like, I'm down with that. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But
Yeah.
then halfway, so halfway through, also, so this is when the movie gets stupid. The movie gets stupid, honestly, every time they introduce Laurie Strode back into it. I'll be honest with you. So that scene where Corey is sleeping in the spot where the kid died, and
Hmm.
Laurie is sitting there in the chair, and do you feel like Michael was in the house because he says, "Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?" Like, who's he talking to?
I think I missed that. I don't
Yeah,
recall that.
he goes to
I
he
remember him
goes to
sleeping there,
yeah,
and Lori
and
was
then
there
Laurie
waiting.
pops up. Yeah, And so I just picture this old geriatric lady uh, climbing a fence to surprise his kid in the morning. And so he's smiling and laughing and talking to Lori like, "Hey, yeah, like I like you." But then Lori like says, "Hey, let me help you." This is so weird. This is writing. The writing is terrible. Hey, let me help you. I want to help you. I can help you get through this together. But stay away from my granddaughter, Allison. You will not have her. You can't have her. She is not yours. Something like that. It's like I'm like I was like, where did that come from? And then he's looking like, no, what are you talking about? You don't want to introduce us. You made this
Yeah,
possible. This is of you. And so I'm like, Lori, leave this man alone. If
yeah, you're
Allison's a
making it
grown
worse.
woman,
You're making it worse.
huh?
She was making it worse. But after that scene happened, I was actually questioning, did it even happen? Was he imagining it? Because she just vanished. And she ain't no spring chicken. She's as old as Michael. So I just
And
don't think
also when
she.
she vanished, the chair that she was rocking up against the wall in was
Mhm.
still left against the wall. So she eased out of the chair while he was looking away and scurried off and climbed out the window. Like, oh, my back, my hip.
I kind of think he was just imagining that conversation happened and it really didn't happen.
That's an interesting take. I
I
didn't think
don't.
about that.
I don't know if that's the case. Or maybe I'm creating another plot to, to make it make more sense. But yeah, it's. I definitely feel this movie is all over the place. But once the point really started losing me is when they were tag teaming. It's like I don't buy Michael Myers teaming up with anyone. I just don't.
Yeah, I liked it still. I was like, well, maybe Michael. Well, they only tag teamed at one time, essentially.
Yeah,
Uh,
they
well,
left it.
other than the initial kill of Officer Mulaney, but it was more like. But honestly, I'm like, Michael would have honestly went from stabbing Officer Mulaney to just stabbing the other guy too.
Yes.
That's what Michael would have done. Michael would have been like pop, 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 and now you're dead too. Thank you, I'm recharged. What do you think about Michael shaking? Like, rejuvenated.
Yeah, I was like, it's something that goes back to Halloween Kills, though. Is like every time he kills, he gets stronger. He becomes
He
more immortal.
transcends.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I always thought it was the mask. There's something special about the mask. You know, when he doesn't have the
because he
mask on,
always takes the mask. Yeah,
he comes off more childlike, like he's still that little boy. But with the mask on, he's the shape. You know, he's evil and personified. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird movie. That's what I
who
said in my
said
review.
who said Michael is a 6-year-old boy with the strength of a grown man, but the mind of a sociopath or something like that. Like he's still like that
I want to
kid.
say Frank said it in Halloween 2018, I believe.
Frank was good. See, I was hoping Frank would be like a Loomis type of guy. Like they did nothing with him. Like literally
No,
did
they
nothing with.
didn't.
That's my biggest fault in this movie is that they don't do anything. And I think that they took Allison, and I want to talk about this too. I think that they took Allison and made her the dumbest character at of all times. Like she's so dumb and just so irritating and annoying, and I, and I feel like they wasted her character too. What were your thoughts
Yeah,
on Allison?
yeah. She wasn't the same character she was in the previous two films. I feel like everyone took a back seat from the very first two films, just to focus on Corey. You know, he's leading this movie. He's the main attraction to the movie, and I knew right then it was going to upset people. But with Allison, you know, she's just the girlfriend in this movie and the granddaughter. She has no story structure whatsoever. She's got no story arc. You know, she doesn't, other than being Corey's new girl. You know, or his first girl.
An idiot. She's an idiot. Also, so all right. So after Lori encounter, he's like I'm mad. We're gonna have to leave. Meet me
Yeah.
tonight at the diner. But then at the same time, this is the most infamous scene in this movie. Is this man went to the sewers, wrestled with Michael Myers,
And one.
beat him up, and took his mask and scurried out. And Michael Slow rose up with the mask off. Like, no, don't even do that, bro. Just lay on down and be dead. Just be dead, bro. At that point, when you done got beat up by this boy that then got beat up by like 4 band members,
Mm-hmm.
man, you have lost all credibility. Ain't no way Jason Voorhees is taking the L like that. There is no way. There's no way.
Not in the middle of
There's
the
no
movie.
way. There's no way Jason Voorhees is gonna take that L. I've been a fan, man, of Michael, and there's no way Jason Voorhees is taking the L. There's
It's
no way
shocking.
Freddy Krueger is just gonna let anybody just run up in there and take his glove off. You ain't beating Chucky like that,
No,
boy.
they made him really weak in his movie. And Corey, a
Corey,
Halloween.
a Halloween story.
I-
Yeah.
it was such a weird creative decision here to go this route. I do applaud them trying something different with this franchise. I do. And they swung hard, but it just didn't land a lot of the time. Like it just didn't land. Oh, but I will say this: I was never bored watching the movie. I was into it until the end. But it just they took some chances, and I knew like people like you, Aaron, the diehard fan base would burn this to the ground because oh,
See, but the thing is, I don't want to make it seem like I. So what I liked about the movie was so after this part, Corey got the mask, and he goes and challenges the teens, the band
well, did
geeks,
he kill the DJ
the
first?
band gangsters, huh?
Doesn't he
No,
kill the DJ? No, he doesn't kill the
no,
DJ.
no,
Oh,
no. He gets them right psycho in the name in the car of the hood,
yeah,
and then like the kids went to the junkyard, and he like stabs one of them with the drumstick, and
yeah.
then he takes the truck, which is very Christine. It remind me of Christine, and he drives. Also, Halloween five, four,
Yeah.
five.
Yeah,
Five,
that's
because
very
he's in that car in the yeah. But remind me that he comes and he runs over the girl. One girl's really nice to him, runs her ass over. And so he don't matter. Corey don't care if you're nice or not. He's gonna kill you.
not at this
And
point.
so Corey runs her over, and she's pinned beneath the fence, and then the other girl he like bashes in the head with the wrench, and then by that time his stepdad, I guess maybe, or mom's boyfriend. Um,
What's he watching though? What's he watching?
what movie is that? Hard
Hard
Target.
Target. John Claude Van Damme made a cameo in Halloween Ends, and I loved it. Even if it
Did you mark
wasn't.
out for that?
Yeah, he was watching Hard Target. I
I
loved it. I
said, did you
marked
mark
out.
out for that?
I did
Yeah.
because I'm a big mark
Uh,
for Van Damme. I
yeah.
just
So yeah, he's watching Hard Target. And I liked his character, but his character died by hand of the kid with the shotgun to the face, to the head. Uh, but then Corey puts on the mask, and he's a better Michael Myers than we got. I was like, I'm in there, Corey Cunningham. Like literally, I was like, oh, I'm okay. So you're Corey Cunningham, and I'm like, and I thought Corey Cunningham, Michael Myers. I'm cool. If it's gonna be, is what we're doing, we're doing it. And Corey blow torches the kid's face,
mhm.
and then like stomps the other lady's face into the to mush. I'm like, so he has strength now. Okay, so Corey is strong. And then he kills the Darcy, the male girl. It does a cameo, as the working at the radio station. So she's from Joe Bob. Um, yeah, so that's pretty cool. I noticed her, but also Dick Castle does a cameo, and he says, "You see anything you like?" He says the PJ Souls line. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of cool. But oh man, what do you think about the death of the DJ?
The tongue part was interesting. I liked how it kept going back in circles and it would slip up. I was like, well,
Very Terrifier like, right?
yeah, it's like that's interesting. You know what though? This almost works for like a Halloween 3 for Rob Zombie's universe in a way. It felt more like in that universe than it did in the original universe. So there was parts I actually thought Rob Zombie directed some scenes. I'm not gonna lie, I really that scene in particular, the DJ scene reminded me more of a Rob Zombie approach than David Gordon Green. But
I just realized he took the scissors from Darcy the Mail Girl, like because
yeah,
she was cutting out. I just realized that, but okay. But yeah, I like that scene. I like that he yelled him. But then after that, who cares? Allison's waiting at the diner. He doesn't show up. Whatever. Boo-hoo. Cry me a river. Then Lori suspects he's in the house, but she says she's gonna commit suicide, and she goes
yeah,
upstairs. She's crying, and they ruined this in the trailer because they show her behind the door pointing the gun at Michael. You know, so they kind of ruined they blew the gimmick right there, man. But I thought that, oh man, when she shoots him and he falls, and then she's like, pick up the knife and finish me, do it, whatever. And and then he gets stabbed, and I'm like, oh no. That's what I immediately was like when I first saw it. I was like, no, they killing him. I'm like,
yeah. It's
uh,
makes your
and
whole
that's crazy.
story.
I felt, huh?
I just felt it made the whole story pointless at this point. What was the whole purpose of him becoming like Michael if you're just going to kill him off in his first movie?
Yeah,
only
and then
to
like when
only to get Michael versus Lori. And Michael wasn't even there for her. Again, he's not there for her. He's there for his
he's there
mask.
for the mask. Yeah, he's like, yeah, but there's only one scene where he did kind of like was like looking at her, but
Yeah,
he's not really concerned with it. He's like, oh, whatever, I don't
yeah,
care, so he leaves. But so I think that Michael is following Corey more than
yeah,
Corey's following Michael. But still, uh, also rewind it real quick. That scene when after Michael and Corey kills the doctor and the nurse, for a split second, Brandon, did you think Mike was on the back of that motorcycle with Corey?
yeah. I did, and I actually seen a meme about it. That was Corey and Michael. I was like, oh God, please tell me they didn't do this. And this is before I saw the movie. I was like, so when I seen he's on that motorcycle, I was like, it's Allison. I was like, thank God. Because I can't picture Michael on a motorcycle, let alone
Holding on to a man, holding on
yes,
to a man with the mask on.
yeah, it just it just I don't know. It just to me, as someone who went in open minded, it just felt like a very bizarre, weird ending to this legacy of Michael and Lori. It just felt very weird. And that's
So
someone that's not a
this,
diehard fan. Like it didn't upset me. It just felt a weird approach. It was just a
yeah.
weird approach.
So this is what I thought about as well with so with um so when Michael comes in and he picks up the knife from Corey, and Corey is still alive, and Corey, like, this is what I would have done differently. All right, so Corey grabs his leg, and then Michael snaps his neck and kills him. He's dead. Corey's dead. Dead. This is what I
Yeah.
would have done differently. have Michael get the knife. Corey's still laying there. Not touch Corey, just kept going. And um, then have Michael and Jamie, Lori do that same stupid little fight with the same outcome, taking the mask off, taking them. We're gonna talk about that. So stupid. But anyway, uh, but then what I would have did at the very end is when she comes back to the house, I would have had Corey gone and the mask on, and then like Halloween ends, and then like take the end and have it fade away, and it's just as Halloween. Cause like, and you're like, oh, he's still living. He's still somewhere. He got the mask. He's gonna be the next evil. And I was like,
Yeah.
that would have been cool for me. But nope, nope. So
No, they
Lori and
never-
Michael fights, and he gets crushed
This
by a
is literally
refrigerator. A refrigerator takes out Michael.
this is literally the worst part of the movie for me. And this is what I was looking forward to the most. Because I knew the fight was at the end. And she takes him out easily. I mean, it's just easily. It's just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was actually watching. And don't get me wrong, I'm actually for her. But I wanted a knockout, drag out, no holds barred fight. She barely survives, and that's not the case at all. It's like when she kills him, it's like it's easy for her, but she doesn't. You talk about 40 years of torment. She does it like gracefully, like
Yeah, she gracefully slits and then holds his hand, like his fingers, like that's
like
her brother or something, like that.
like H2O or Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like no, that bond's not there. That weird bond they had back in those days is not there
yeah.
today.
Michael
I
don't
don't
even
know.
know you like that. He just wants to kill you because you
Yeah,
just happen to be here. But yeah, Michael, man, and then like Allison comes in like, oh, we're gonna break his arm, and then I'm not leaving you to do this by yourself. Shut up, Allison. Oh my goodness. And then like we got to talk about the parade of Michael Myers strapped on the hood of a car like he's a deer, and they're taking him down, and everybody in Haddonfield is outside. And why is Julian, the little boy from the first movie, out at night? Where is his parents? Why are they allowing this little boy to see a grown man get chopped up? And then also the lady with the throat,
yeah.
man, she wouldn't be there. How would she know? Just so dumb. So dumb. The movie's
I
so
guess they
dumb.
got on. I guess they had some intercoms like we've killed him. But I hated this last.
Oh,
I hated the fight. I hated the parade. I hated them chopping him up like that. I just
they carried Michael like he was in a mosh pit. They
yeah.
carried him like he's at a rock concert. Like oh, like he's almost like Jesus almost.
It was almost
You know,
like they, in a weird way, it was almost like they were celebrating his life by doing that.
yeah.
It just it felt wrong. The whole thing felt wrong, and this was not the ending I thought it was going to get.
Yeah. So then we get what we get the uh so I gotta tell you, Red Letter Media, they said that the way that they would have ended it is when Michael's in the meat chopper thing and he's about to get chopped up, is if he comes alive and like grabs Lori's leg and pulls her in with him, and then like they both get chopped up, and then like the end credits run, all ends. I would have been like, that's great. If they would have did that, I've been okay with it because I want Lori to die completely. It's just like it would have been. I would have laughed and would have been like, that's fine. Because at that point, honestly, the moment that they killed Corey Cunningham, I was no longer invested in the rest of this movie. And it's
Yeah,
sad to
the
say.
only reason you are invested, it's on his
Yeah,
shoulders.
it's
Yeah,
like
so
it's like
I was the same way
it's like
though.
it's like when we watched the Five Bloods, and the moment that they killed Delroy Lindo, how we was just like done with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same exact thing. As soon as you kill Corey Cunningham, you're like, well, at this point, I don't care.
Yeah, and the fight didn't live up to expectations. It was too quick for one thing. It was just too easy. I have a huge problem with how she not only took out him, she took out Corey. She took him out both. In 40 plus years, she couldn't take out this guy. She does it on this one night like it's nothing. It's just story wise, it don't make any sense.
And then at the end, and she says, "Evil never dies; it just changes shape." And
That's
then like
perfect.
there's the going through the house, and then you see the mask of Michael's mask, and then they cue the Halloween. No, they cue uh uh do 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 whatever,
It
the
would have been
Reaper
perfect
song,
to
whatever.
end on that note if Corey survived. If that meant he
Yeah,
would take the shape. But who's taking it now? It's like if they were to actually continue with this storyline, I have no idea what they do.
this is what I would do if you do this. Corey's dead. We give that Corey's dead. Um, unless they do something supernatural and they bring him back, which would be done at this point. But I would say maybe there's someone that idolized Corey, maybe or not or Michael or something,
More
and
Mike.
yeah, probably more Michael, and then like he comes into Lori's house because she has a mask, kills her, take the mask. That would bring Allison back to Haddonfield because Allison leaves, and then maybe that's the new killer, and then maybe we get Frank now invested in finding who the killer is and help investigating who the killer is. That's the only way that they could save it, but it won't be Michael Myers. But the legend would be Michael Myers. Maybe that it was another Michael Myers. He's not dead, which it'll be done. Like there's no way to fix it. This is just my best way of saying this is how I fix it. But I don't think that there's no good way, Brandon, for them to fix the. Like I'm not invested, even if they reboot this like 5 years later. I don't think I'm still invested because they ruined it so bad with this one. I think.
Uh, Here's my theory of when they do reboot it, that they'll do a direct sequel to 4, bring back Danielle, and if not, I think they'll just do something new. Something which is what the Corey should have been. It should have been his own. He should have got his own reboot if that's the direction you were going to go in. If you're going to try something new, I just thought that story arc shouldn't have been in this movie. But for what it was, I was invested in it, and I mean I'm not going to give it like a really fresh score, but I was invested in the movie throughout. I didn't love it, but I thought it was decent for what they were going for. But if you want a traditional Halloween film, they ruined the franchise.
Yeah.
There's no
No.
mistake. That's why I don't feel any
Yeah.
true diehard Halloween fan would ever give us a good grade. I don't. I think a casual fan like
Yeah.
me could appreciate what they were trying to do, but still can't give it like a 4 or 5. But they can appreciate the effort that went in. It felt like they were making too many movies and trying to make it one, and it just didn't work out in the end.
You said something that I like. And I never thought about it. Yeah. If they were to make a direct sequel to Halloween 4, that would be great. Speaking of which, I listened to Danielle Harris and Scout Compton's podcast called Talk Scary to Me, and they talked about the way that they went to the premiere of Halloween Ends. They hated it as well, um, but they went to the after party, and
Yeah,
it was them, Heather Langenkamp, who was another horror queen
from
from
Nightmare on
Friday
Elm Street.
13th, and
Elm
then
Street.
I think it's her name Amy Nightmare on Elm Street,
She's named.
and then Amy Wise or Amanda Wise, I don't remember her name. She's the one that was played Tina and it was murdered. The very first victim of Freddy in that movie. But they went to the after party. Danielle Harris got to Jamie Lee Curtis first to take a picture with her,
Yeah.
and she said, "Hello, Jamie. Nice to meet you. I'm a huge, fan of yours. My name is Danielle Harris. I played your daughter in Halloween 4 in those films." And she said, "I've never seen any of those movies, and I don't know you. I don't know you." And just
First
kind of
part's the
treated
truth,
her
the last
like,
part's a lie. Jamie Lee
"Oh,
Curtis knows
this is
who
what
she is.
Danielle Harris said."
I know,
Huh?
but Jamie knows who she is. Because when she was trying to
No.
get in Halloween 2018, Jamie made sure she wasn't in it. So it's
So
what was
Jamie,
reported
so
anyway.
Jamie just,
Being a
so Jamie just got some beef with her essentially.
yeah,
Um, and then like that, she's like, "Okay, are we taking this picture? Are we doing this?" And so I feel like I lost a lot of respect for Jamie Lee Curtis, honestly,
yeah.
because I feel like you don't treat folks that way. And I'm a huge Daniel Harris fan. I liked Daniel Harris's Halloween stuff, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, not as much, but Halloween 4 I did. I actually think it's a pretty good sequel to Halloween 1 and 2, I would say. But then not only that, the Hatchet series, man, she took
Yeah.
it over and she ran with it, man, and she's pretty great. And
I
she
think
don't
she's
deserve
more of
that.
a I think she's more of a scream queen than Jamie Lee. And I know that's probably controversial to say just because how big Halloween is, but if you take Halloween out of it, take Halloween 2, take Halloween 4 out of the
Take
equation,
she also
then
had prom night, so and then New Year's
yeah.
Evil maybe. But yeah, those are her early.
Danielle's
But then
done
she
so
hadn't really
much
did horror
more.
after that.
Yeah, Danielle's done so much more in the genre. So I view her as as a bigger scream queen.
And I will say this right now. I'm a Halloween fan. I'm gonna say this right now, right here on this podcast. Other than Dan, I love Daniel Harris, but more of a fan of Heather Langenkamp, aka Nancy, on Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm more of a fan. The best final girl scream queen is Nev Campbell. I said it.
Wow.
Sydney. Sydney is the best. Come at me. She's the best. She got them hands and she got them bullets for you. She ain't gonna
I
go down without a fight.
my favorite scream queen is Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
I'm Jamie Lee's a bigger actress, no doubt, but as far as scream queens in the horror genre, Danielle has her beat. She's done more.
yeah. Danielle's done more.
That's what I
She's
view
done
it on.
more, and Heather's still doing more. Not only in acting, because she's in the Midnight Club. She's in that series, but also and that's done by Mike Flanagan, by the way. So I think you'd be interested in it. I like Mike. I'm a Mike guy. I'm a Mark
I
for
know
Mike.
you are.
Uh, but also Heather Langenkamp and her husband does uh, props and makeup and stuff like that for like movies. So I forget what they designed a couple of creatures in some films. I forget which ones, but I think Slither. They might have. I forget which ones they did. I don't want to be wrong in it, but I know Heather Langenkamp. Yeah, but no. I like Scream Queen. So Sydney is a final girl. We gotta
Yeah,
make
yeah.
a distinction between final girl and Scream Queen. Scream Queen, obviously they're running and screaming and scared, but final girl is a different breed. So in the first one, she's a final girl. In the first Halloween, Laurie's a final girl. A Scream Queen that survives into a final girl, but I think that she ultimately becomes a final girl in the rest of the little movies or whatever. But we didn't talk about your girl from from Nightmare on Elm, not Friday 13th Part 2. I think that she was a really good final girl.
Jenny. Yeah,
Um,
I would say Jenny was
yeah,
probably the best final girl in that franchise. It's a shame she never got to come back, but it is what it is. But yeah, for me, Heather is my favorite final girl from A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Nancy. I love it. I love her character in that. So, but yeah, like Bilford, there was no disrespect towards Jamie Lee Curtis. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but you take Halloween out of the equation, she's not done that much in horror.
Other than like I said, Prom Night and New Year's Evil, pretty much it. Pretty much the gist of it.
Repeatedly said that she doesn't like the genre. So I mean,
yeah,
I think that's kind
give
of
me folks that love the genre.
Yeah, I'm gonna give love to someone that actually loves what they do. I love Danielle Harris though. I like her more.
Let's see, makeup department. All right, yeah. So she did the makeup and creatures design for Cabin in the Woods. Heather Langenkamp did. Evan Almighty, she did makeup and special effects for. Cinderella Man and Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Wow.
So
I didn't know she did makeup.
So yeah, she's like I'm telling you, man, she's a heavy hitter. And I think the people need to put some respect on her name. But yeah, I love Heather Langenkamp. I get excited every time I see it. So when I seen it in Midnight Club, I'm like, yes. But anyway, let's go ahead and give our marks for this horrible movie.
Wow, Aaron.
You want to go first? You want to go first?
I'll go first because I don't think it's horrible. I just think it doesn't land sometimes. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna put a little respect on it for what they tried to do, but it still falls short. It's not a film. It wasn't worthy of what it was built to be. It wasn't. Mm-hmm. So, but for what they were going for, I was open-minded. I did like some things they did, but I just hated the ending. I really did. And I didn't like seeing Michael Myers have compassion or heart or be weak.
Oh, being weak? Yeah. I didn't like that. I know he's older, man. He's old. Yeah. But if he's going to be old, be consistently old. Don't be, I just took 15 shotgun shots and stabs and stuff and I survived, but now I'm old. No, don't be that.
I think I'm looking at it more like as an original movie than a Halloween franchise film. I think it's from the perspective I'm coming from, and I know the perspective you're coming from.
I give this movie 2 markouts out of 5. It's just like I loved Corey Cunningham, and if they would have if this was going to be grooming someone to become the next boogeyman, the next Shake, then I'm all for it, and I would have been so pleased with that. But ultimately, that's not what we get, no. And it's just like garbage, honestly. And I hate to say that because I really, this was anticipated for me, and I hate that I hate it. I was like literally depressed that this movie was so bad.
I know you would.
Let's see. Screen Rant, Cinema Blend, and Joe Blow ranks Jamie Lee number 1 and Scream Queen. Whatever. Why? Because she's in Halloween? So, it doesn't matter. Nancy, freaking Heather Langenkamp is a much better Scream Queen / Final Girl.
Congratulations, Jamie.
You can go Danielle Harris. I'm trying to just think of Linnea Quigley. Put some respect on her name. Just like freaking Anya Taylor-Joy, killing it. Like whenever she does anything horror. So whatever.
I'm gonna answer you real quick, Bilford. It's all subjective. It can be wrong. Everybody has a different opinion. But congratulations to her. She goes down as being the Scream Queen. the best scream queen, and she hates the genre. So congratulations.
Yeah,
You gave it to a
yeah,
hater. So
it's fine if that's what if that, she wanted. That's fine. I think what happened at this movie. This is what I was gonna say before we end this. I
mhm.
think two things. One, I think that Jamie Lee Curtis said, "I want it rewritten for me and Michael to have our showdown," and that's probably wasn't in the original ending, like or something like that. They just kind of had to deal with it. Two, hopefully, I pray that there's going to be a director's cut or something that comes that would make more sense in this movie because it felt like a movie that was patched together, like Frankenstein created it, and
I
like
think
these
he
things don't
said that.
belong together.
I think David Gordon Green said that the pandemic changed their original plan. I would put her as a
Maya
screen.
Goth.
Yeah, from
I don't know who
X.
Maya Goth
Pearl.
is.
She's from X and Pearl.
Oh, I've never seen Pearl, so
And
um,
she's got that scene coming. So I would say she's a screen queen. I also would say
um,
Jenna Ortega is as well. She's from X and The Last Scream, and she's gonna be
I'll
Wednesday
say
Adam.
yeah. I would put also one that we'll talk about Bettis or Bettis, the one is in May, Angela Bettis. People don't think about her any longer, but she's more of in the late '90s, 2000s. But she was killing it, like the movie May. She was doing The Scent. She's actually in VHS 99, which I listen. I've never seen any of those other than the first one. So yeah, I wasn't really into those. I was into the first one, but all right, let's go ahead. Well, let's see. Adrian Barbeau, absolutely. Uh, and Adrian Barbeau got more horror cred for me than Jamie Lee Curtis, to be honest, because
Yeah,
has
I look at
Adrian
Jamie
has been in it.
more of a like a I don't know, more of a dramatic actress. I think of True Lies. I think of My Girl. Um, what's it? Blue Steel. I mean, I don't automatically go to Halloween with her, even though I know that's where she became famous.
Freaky Friday,
Yeah,
you
Freaky
know.
Friday. I think of other stuff she's done
Hmm.
more than I do Halloween, or like she did Terror Train, I believe. Prom
Yeah.
Night, as you
Fish,
said.
Fish Caught Wanda. It's Terror
Yeah,
Train, yeah. So did she do New Year's Evil? I thought
I
she was
haven't
in
seen.
that.
I haven't seen that, so I don't know. I know she was
Maybe
getting.
I'm wrong.
I remember she once said she was getting tired of doing these type of films. She didn't want to get
Yeah,
typed.
she just got into it. She took Halloween just just to, she didn't want to be Laurie. She wanted to be PJ Soul's character because that was more of who she was at the time. And but no, she wasn't in New Year's Eve. It's Terror Train that I was thinking about. You're right. But she took it and got it because Carpenter was like, "Oh, that's Janet Leigh's daughter from Psycho. He loves Psycho and Alfred Hitchcock. Let's cast
Yeah,
her." And so that's kind of got her foot in the door. And she did the horror, but then once she landed, like I'm probably like Fish Caught Wanda, or something maybe. She kind of started blowing up, trading places.
Trading
She
Places. Yeah.
started she started becoming a different actress, a more comedic and then more serious actress. And now, honestly, she didn't want to do horror or Halloween. She did Halloween 20 because John pretty much said, "Hey, I think this is a great idea." Even though John wasn't really, did he produce it or
He was up for
I don't know if
directing,
John.
and something happened. Like
Yeah, I think he wanted
I
more
don't remember.
money. I think he wanted more money.
They should
But
have gave it to him. 'Cause he would have made it better than it was.
then Kevin Williamson, because Kevin Williamson just pretty much made it another Scream. Like
Yeah,
he
but it was
wrote it,
directed.
but he didn't direct it. He wrote
No,
it. He
Steve
couldn't
Miner
direct it
directed.
because you said that he wasn't allowed to, right? I thought you
Uh,
told me that.
no, I don't think. Nah, he helped write it. or come up
But
with
I
ideas.
don't think he was allowed to direct it.
I think at that point in time he was really busy with Dawson's Creek and Scream, one of the Scream sequels. But they did call him to come in to help with the story. So, but it was directed by Steve Miner, who did Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3.
There you go. I liked it, but yeah. But anyway, next week we will be discussing Hell House LLC. It's on Prime. If you can't find it on Prime, then we'll make an audible and do something else. And yeah. So today I wore Haunted Wing, my Haunted Wing shirt, because it's a better movie than this movie.
Oh my God, Aaron! That movie.
But
oh, come on, Aaron! You can't be serious.
I'm dead serious. It's more entertaining. But the only thing this movie had going for it was Corey. And Halloween was actually shot here in Bowling Green. Thank you, Guy. Thank you. I appreciate it, Bilford.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you, Brandon. What do we want people to do each week?
We want you to be entertained. We want you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. But we really want you to be entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. And we thank you for listening, watching, and everything. Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey. Putting a little respect on
we
Halloween.
And Halloween is over. I'm literally like losing my fandom of this. Man, why? Sometimes it's a bad idea to go back and watch everything, because then you start looking at it and you're like, oh, this isn't as good as I remembered it. But anyway, thank you for watching. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy whatever you watch. If it's Black Adam, have fun.
Go see Black Adam. Go see The Rock. He's recreating the DCU.
Maybe.
Phase 1 starts this weekend. He made it official.
So
he made it official.
All right. Well, Aaron Whitlow, Brandon Spivey, thank you for marking out with us.
Thank you.